morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, YouTube viewers, good morning, Facebook Nation, good morning to all people, all colors, all races, all languages around the world, no matter where you are, men, women, children. And may whatever goals that you have set forth for yourself on this day, may those goals come to fruition. And may those goals be of benefit to all of humanity. So I want to get right into this. This is the Fallen Ones part 5 and part 6. And in my earlier videos, I speak about having knowledge of living a previous life, and the way that light works, and the way that the God mind works, the one who created all of us, the all. We have to realize, number one, that we're under a false kingdom, a false gods that are here, and these false gods can be traced back all the way to Babylonian Sumerian. And the way that you understand light is because you have to go back to the beginning. You have to know where you came from in order to know where you're going. And the farther back that I go, the more that it makes sense of what we're going through today. And that we are under this false kingdom that has been set up by these false gods. And these false gods can die, but they have the ability to be immortal. We had this same thing. And I want you to look at it like this. Even all the way going down. So I'm going to talk to you about these Sumerians. I'm going to talk to you about Enlil and Enki, because they are the two pivotal people, and all the kingdoms that we see here on the face of this earth today are set up by them. They are fallen ones. And what these fallen ones did before they even got here, before they even genetically modified us, they were already raping people in their own kingdom. They had already destroyed their own world. This is why they came here, because they needed gold to restore their atmosphere. Sound familiar? We're talking hundreds of thousands, okay? To say hundreds of thousands is a misstatement. Number one, time is not what we think it is, and time isn't where we are, where we think we are in time. We are really not in time. We're a lot farther along in time than what we think. So when these beings came here, they came here and they were only looking for gold. They were only looking to mine gold. And what they did was they went to southern Africa, and that's what they call the Abzu. So therefore, they knew that they had to mine this stuff, but they didn't want to do it. And they also had slavery before they got here. So this isn't the God of the universe. They're a falling race of people just like we are, except they have a higher intelligence than we do. And also, they have the ability to manipulate the environment, meaning that they've learned how to manipulate nature, something that in time, what we're trying to do and what we're learning. But these are things that they've already taught us. But it takes time in order for, technology to be exposed to the people. This is why they use conditioning. They use manipulation. The same tools that we're using on one another right now, they're the ones who brought this here. They're also the ones who divided up the world that we live in and appointed kings, which were to be worshipped as gods, so they would build these temples taken away from the all. So they literally falsified themselves as a false kingdom. So when you're talking about the Antichrist and you're talking about all these things that are scriptural, once you start to read these texts, you realize that, no, these things are here now. That there is no Antichrist to come, because we see that all these guys are still ruling right now on this earth. And this is why we're seeing all these wars. Because I want to go to you, and this is from the book of Enki. And in the book of Enki, Enki is the one who saw humans first. So he said, oh, these are a hairy people, and they walk on all fours. I want you to think about this. When Europeans went into Africa, they said the same thing about us. And is that true? So we know that these fallen ones, when they came here, they lied. They even lied to one another when they were manipulating the gene pool. Because Enlil said, look, don't do this to these people. These people, leave them alone. And Enki sat back and said, well, they're like us. They can understand, but they won't talk. Think about that one. I did a video, bring them out that we may know them. Now you understand why we were more superior, and we still are more superior than what they are. Because if you read the book of Enki, you'll see that we spoke without words for over 1,000,000 years, at least. We spoke without words. We were connected with nature. We were in actual paradise when they came. So you say, oh, well, what about the asteroids and the comets and everything? That's nature. But we never sat back to blame a deity, because just like the animals, when they felt, this is how we survived. And this is why I know that we operated, and this is a time when I lived. I lived during this time, because all throughout my life, I've always been searching for someone that I could talk to without using words. Think about that. And for females that, any female that has ever, dated or I've dated, they will turn around, or in a relationship with, I've said the same thing to them. So these are lifelong. To be able to say something like that, I know it had to come from somewhere. Just like my injuries. Your injuries that you have are from previous lives that we've lived over and over and over. So those injuries will stay there as a reminder that this is a life, and this is a life that you can remember if you walk away. And when I say walk away, it's not like walking away from humanity or walking away from civilization. You can't, because we're on this earth, and we can't leave it. But what I mean by it is that to acknowledge the fact that these people bought things, everything that they bought here is the same thing as what's tearing us apart. They came here tearing apart the earth, and when they left the earth torn apart, and every other planet within our solar system, because and one of the ways that you know this, the Book of Enki is a very, very old book. It goes back thousands of years, before the Bible even came out. But the one thing that they say in this book is, we didn't find that face on Mars till what? Maybe the last 100 years. We can say that we found this face on Mars. They said it over 1,000 years ago and said who was buried underneath it. And for us to find it, there's more evidence to these two brothers and their false kingdoms being on this earth than there is any other religion. Because from every other religion, they have remained the same. From godhood, they became the pharaohs. From the pharaohs, they became kings. And from kings, they became everything that you see right here, all world governments. They're the ones who brought all these crazy laws. And to go back to Enki, when he said that, he said, look, they eat grass, they walk on all fours. And the reason that that's key is because that's another thing that I said, and I've said this throughout my videos, that it's key that we were vegetarians. And these people bought seeds from their planet here. When we had, let's think we're going to use one plant, or two, no, one. We're going to go with one plant, and we're going to go with the eggplant. If anyone knows that if you cook an eggplant right, it tastes like meat. We had more than just the eggplant. We had so many different fruits, because he mentions fruits. So if he's mentioning fruits, that we had fruits, and they're like, oh, they eat fruit, and they drink water, and there's plenty of fish. Yes. We lived off the land. If we took something, we gave something. They had to teach us how to enslave animals, corral them. That's what they call a good shepherd. But a good shepherd is also a shepherd of people, a slave driver, a slave master. So you see what they taught, because everything was free. There was nothing, we didn't have to buy anything, because everything was free. And by it being free, we never had to quarrel, because the whole earth was ours. And this is what the Most High made for us. And then these beings came here, and they caused everything that you see right now, and all the manipulation, and all the games that you're seeing, and all the, the oppression, and everything else. They did this, and we're worshiping them. So these are the fallen ones. And to say, how can I know that I lived at a time like that, is because it's a belief system that I have always had since birth. So it's not something that you just up and you come up with. And another thing that I want to share about pure light is truth. You're constantly seeking truth. Truth never stops. If you find something that someone has discovered, truth is going to lead you to it. So also, when you're searching out truth, and when you're coming into pure light, you'll start operating on a frequency. You can literally read people's vibrations. You can read their energy. You can read their aura. And this is why I'm most of the time mostly alone, because people like, yo, this guy can feel you. He feels you. And some people would tell me straight out, it's scary to them that I can say something and it happens, because most people feel that it's demonic. No, the demonic ones are the ones that's here, the ones that are here that's blinding your mind. So there's truth in religious texts. There's truth in different philosophies. And the way that you understand the truth is to find a commonality across all religions, because again, all religions are one. I did a video on that, and they're all telling the story of these fallen ones, all the way up, and how they divided the lands, and they got people on this earth right now, not only worshiping them, but worshiping their families, because again, these fallen ones impregnated humans. They also manipulated our DNA. But the one thing they cannot do is they cannot create. So therefore, the Most High instilled in us a universal law into every human on this earth. And this is one thing that they couldn't strip from our DNA. And this is what also allowed us the ability to talk without words, to use telepathy, which was that they can't read our minds. They can't read our minds. And by not being able to read our minds, we were able to also keep that universal law. And the universal law is what is not right for you is not right for me. Do unto others as they do unto you. So the thing is to create and to multiply and to enjoy this planet, enjoy nature, and to be part of nature. And I want to say this, before stopping this video, because I want to sit back and go through it, but I also, there's going to be more parts that are going to come out to it today. So today I basically wanted to talk about, how these fallen ones came, how I understood that I had this ability to see through all this bull crap, and, to continuously see beyond it, even as I experience, to experience life to the age that I am now. But to get back to Enki and Enlil, which most people call Lucifer and Yahweh. In fact, not only do they call it Yahweh, they also call him. They also call Enki Allah. They also call Enki the Son of Man. So they also call him the Lamb, and they also call him the Shepherd. So I'm talking about Enki on this side. So, and then on Enlil's side, he's also known, and also the Enki's lineage goes into Greek mythology. Poseidon is one of Enki's children. So this takes you into the Greek pantheon. So all these fallen ones, they establish all these different false kingdoms to be worshipped when there was no such thing as worship. What we were here to do was just to be one with nature. That's all. So this actually was paradise before these fallen ones came. So I'm probably going to need a little bit, to be able to sit down, because like I say, sometimes you say things, and when with light, you get scattered pieces. It doesn't just pop open and say, oh, I lived this life, and this is where I went, and this is where I went. No, because if the Most High and the High Council granted this ability, then we'd be just like the fallen ones. And they're not going to grant that type of power again. This is why when the fallen ones wanted to go back to their home planet, this earth right here was killing them. Think about that. When they got here, they said the water is good, the land is good, the food is good, and there's some people walking around, but they're less than us, so we're going to enslave them. And we're also going to change their races, and we're going to change their colors. And then we're also going to, use the actual universal law book that was given by the Most High, because remember, they were transporting these books to different places, these tablets to different places. Why were those tablets important? The tablet of destiny, the tablet of this, because they know that this is what all their religion was based off of. So when they say so above and so below, what they're saying is their false kingdom is here, and their false kingdom isn't above the Most High. So what they did was set up a counterfeit kingdom. And the way that Armageddon is going to come about is for all of us to wake up and say exactly all that I've been saying ever since I got online and throughout my lifetime. We're all being played against one another. And there are other people out there that are doing this, and those people possess pure light as well. But each one of us, like a person that I reached out to with pure light says, that they have to rise and ascend at their own time and at their own space. So in this, I apologize, because it's always a beautiful thing when you can mentally, through vibration and through these, vibrational waves, find someone that existed when you existed. To find someone who was before a time that we have now. And there are people that I have found. But the one thing is, like me, I get scared too, and I pull back too, and I try to straddle the fence, but I've gone beyond the fence. So in this sense, that person is right as well. That, when there's a fence that we're on, and we can straddle that for so long, but once we go over, we can't go back. So, like I said, now the fence I'm on is complete pure light, which is ascension. So, for people of pure light, that's where I say, I don't look at it in a wrong way. I look at it as in a positive way, to sit back and say, hey, I know you. I know you. And this is why we have to seek out one another. Because, for years and years and years of my life, most of my life, I thought that I was alone. And now I'm finding that, no, there are more of us than what we think. And the way that you know that you have pure light is they're coming after you. As well as pure light, you're not being corrupted by the things that they've presented on this earth. Remember, they're the ones who bought weapons, they're the ones who bought money, they're the ones who bought everything that we kill one another over right now. They bought here. So for those things, I try to live a simple and minimal life. I don't chase after what it is, this program that they've laid out, because this program constantly leads to destruction. And the thing about destruction is, we can either be recycled back into the chaos, or we can be removed from the chaos. Because we are victims, and the Most High knows that we are victims. So that ties back into the beginning where I said that everything is written inside your DNA. And they know this. This is why they wanted to be worshipped, because they blocked us from going straight to the Almighty, the All, the one who they were afraid of, when, in Enki's own words, said that, we screwed up, but it is what it is, and made the, the All, the one who created them, find them worthy or not be upset with them, to make them pay some kind of a price. Why, if you're God's over everything, why would you be worried about something else? Because this is a counterfeit kingdom that has been set up on this earth by these fallen ones. So with that, everyone, I'm going to try to get out of here right now because I know it's getting ready to rain. I feel it. Person told me it wasn't going to rain today, but, hey, we might get some. All rain is good, you know what I'm saying, because it brings out nature, so for that, we're thankful. We thank the Most High for a forehead. So, again, I want to leave people with a lot of people that out here, that the few people out there that have pure life, some of the people are very, very religious, and they know their religion inside and out. And so I don't take away from that, but I also say that if the person possesses pure light constantly draws you to the truth. Because until we can answer the question, which now I can answer certain questions, not all, certain, because like I said, all of us have a piece to the puzzle. So this is why I reach out to people with pure light, because we all have a piece of the puzzle. No one has the whole full picture. So this is why I say that even us, we have to still try to see truth, all the way up to the point to, we're no longer here. It can never stop. But for me, I can say that even with my channel, I've never sat back and gone to any other venue, because like I say, I trust that, someone will hear. And as long as someone hears, that's good enough for me. If I go to separate venues, or if I try to, gain something from this, then I'll be going against what the Most High gave to me, which is a home that these fallen ones put a price tag on. He gave us all a home that we didn't have to. The only thing I had to do was, take care of the land. We were doing that without them. But see, what they did was teach us how to work the land for profit, how to destroy animals, and how to, manipulate animals. And also, they, when it comes to Tiamat, they say, more or less is a planet, but these gods, but they also have these powers, because some of these, some of the ones that are written in history as human were also attributed to planets. So we understand that everything is living, everything has intelligence. And when we say that there was peace, when I lived during a time of peace, most people will say, what about the dinosaurs? What about this? Well, then you need to read the story of the war of Tiamat, where Tiamat and Marduk went to war, which is Enki's son. And Tiamat created all these demonic, what we see, dragons, man-eating sharks, lions, and all these different animals, creatures that they created, they manipulated with. See, all the things that we had on this earth were docile. So exactly, when I say that what they did was flip the laws of physics, or the laws of nature, what they did was, this was paradise, and they turned it into a hell. So when they came here, they destroyed it. Now, the same thing I say for us. What are we doing? And then when we go to Mars or we go to another planet, what will we do there? 9 out of 10 people will say the same. We will destroy it. So remember when those words, you are like your father? So these all come from universal law. They just took them from, the universal laws that were handed down to all of existence. And then they put their little twist on it and applied it to us. So they're using truth with lies, but it's up to us to understand what these lies are, and for us to come up out of these lies. Because the fact remains, we are all one race. They changed us genetically so that they can make us worship them and then war against one another. This was the reason for all these huge megaliths with all these huge blocks, because they had war on their mind from day one when they got here. This is why the first thing we read about is a murder. The first thing we read about is disobedience from mankind. The second thing we read about is a murder. But you're only telling a story about what they did. So we're victims of it, of these ones, but it's up to us, because it's written in our DNA that we know that this stuff is wrong. But we're too afraid to turn around and say, you know what? I'm not following this anymore. So we condone, and we fall victim to a system, a corrupt system, which is also a fake kingdom. So that's part 5. I'm going to review this, and then whatever I can clarify is going to be clarified through 6. But look up on your screen for where I put these sayings, and read when you get a chance to find out that, all these people that we're reading about, their names were different back then. But their stories were told thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of years before what we have right here and right now. So I give more credence and more authority to those older documents, because they tell a more full story. And then all the books that we have now are just telling how these things transform themselves. So that was a little bit long. I'm going to come back with part 6, which will be the end of it. So let me go and review this, get ready to get out this rain. And with that, everyone, have a beautiful day, and may you have the best day. And with that, everyone, peace and blessings. Stand tuned for part 6. Blessings.